Hi, I'm Casey Liu, and today I want to show you how to update your permalinks, which is basically your URL of your blog posts in WordPress, and then also talk about changing your permalinks, which I did a few weeks ago. And so we'll talk about how you can do that without losing a lot of traffic that you're getting from old links and how that will affect you. So ideally, you set up your permalinks properly before you start blogging, because doing it afterwards is a little bit more work and a little tricky. But when you first set up your WordPress blog, what you want to do is log in. So I'm logged in here to my WordPress admin. You go to your domain name /wp-admin, and then you'll come down to settings and then go to permalinks. That'll bring you to this page. This is your permalink settings. So usually WordPress has plain as the default for permalink settings, and this doesn't help anybody. There's literally no information here on what your post would be about, although it is very short. So I guess that's a pro of that one. But for photographers, for service-based owners, for anybody that wants to focus on SEO, your best bet is going to be post name, which is here. So that's your domain name, and then it'll have the post title after it. So when I wrote, salt flats photos with the stars, that was the keyword that I was going after, and now that keyword is in my URL, and it gives a little preview to Google saying, that's what this post is going to be about. It gives a preview for people that are even going to click on the link so that they know what they're clicking on. So, and it also makes it easier for me to share my link. Instead of having to go to my website and copy this post or search for it and then copy the link, I can now start just remembering what the post title was and start sending that to people. Now, what I had it as before, and what you might have done, I had it as the month and the name, and then the post title here. I included the date because I thought that would make it easier for me to separate my couples and the venues that I was blogging about. So I'm a wedding photographer, and if I was shooting at the same venue a few times a year, I thought it would be easier to separate them if I included the date that the couple was there. And so that way I didn't just have several posts that seemed like they were about the same thing. But that is not the case, because I'm able to use different keywords even if I'm shooting at different venues or include the couple's names. So there's lots of ways that you can still make it a different title to use in your permalink. Now, if that is not, if you have already started blogging and you're like, oh, I need to change the post name so I can help my SEO. So first of all, SEO, search engine optimization, it's much more important that you have quality content that is shared by quality websites on the internet. That's going to help your SEO the most. But these technical aspects are still important, and you should set yourself up for success. So this is a simple thing that you can do before you start blogging to make sure that you're set up for success, and that it's the easiest way possible for Google to read your website and rank it higher. But if you're like me and decide, oh, I really need to update my permalinks, how do I go about that? So first of all, just proceed with caution. Be so careful. What you need to do before you change your permalinks is set up a redirect. So a redirect, and I'll show you actually how this works with one of my blog posts. A redirect basically says anytime somebody clicks on this URL or goes to this URL, instead of showing this, which would be, there would be no content there because that's not how your permalinks are anymore, it's going to show this, which is actually where all your content is after you've updated this. And the way I did it is I installed a little piece of code that said to do that in the WordPress htaccess file. And that was simplest for me. I tried several redirect plugins, which you can get them to work. You just need to see what plugin would be the best for you and read their help articles and get support from them. You want to search for redirect plugin. It might also say something about 301 redirects, which is basically saying all the URLs are going to redirect to a new URL where your content lives. Because you don't want to throw away all this SEO juice, all of these posts that you've put on Pinterest and Facebook, or maybe other people have shared on their websites. And if someone clicks on them, it's going to show a 404 page not found error if you don't have that redirect set up. And I did this late at night to make sure I didn't lose out on a ton of traffic. And it took me like a few tries to make sure I got it working, but I finally did. So that is my best advice for you, to make sure you have that setup, redirect set up, and do this late at night when no one's going to be on your site. So let's look at what that change looks like here. So I updated it a few weeks ago. So if we go back a couple of months now, if I pull a report in my Google Analytics, so I just logged into analytics.google.com, and then you go to behavior, site content, landing pages. So landing pages is where people are first landing on my website. A little passionate here. Landing pages is one of the main reports that I pull. Landing pages and exit pages. That's what I'm most curious about, like what pages on my site are actually bringing in traffic. And from there, where are people bouncing off of my site and deciding they don't want to be on my site anymore. So landing pages here, for the last couple of months, this is where I've gotten my traffic from. But I want to point out here, this is one of the old URLs. 2020, in February 2020, I wrote 21 questions. That's like a tongue twister. 21 questions to ask your wedding photographer. Okay, and then I updated my permalinks to take out the date. So now my blog post lives here, caseylou.com/21 questions to ask your wedding photographer. Okay, but I'll show you how the redirect works. So I'm going to copy this, and we're going to go over here. Okay, so I'm including the date here. And you'll see it's automatically redirected to the URL without the date. And here is my content. Here is the original blog post. I didn't attach the blog post, and it's all there. So that is how the redirect works. But another word of caution, if you are if you're working with somebody, or if you're pulling, longer reports, like if you need a year-to-date report, then you'll have to keep in mind that you made this change, because now this is the same landing page, the same content, but it's broken up. So really, this page has received, quick math, 336 sessions instead of just 170, which it might appear, if you're pulling this report, or if somebody else is looking at it for you, and trying to help you with that, then you need to be aware that these need to be combined. And that goes for every blog post that you've ever written. So it's best to do this early on, preferably before you've written any blog posts. But if you have to change it later, it is doable. It's just going to be a little bit trickier. So I hope that was helpful in setting up your permalinks. Be sure to hit subscribe. I'm going to have weekly website tips for you, and would love to help you with your blog. We also have a free Facebook group that you can get help on your blog from. Well, have a great weekend.